Hey, this is Chuck Worley with the 757 House Whisperers Show. I'm the founder and host of the show. I am Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services. Like to let everybody and remind everybody that houses talk to me. And I want you to call in the 627-7979. Call in, ask questions about your house. This is your opportunity to learn about your house. When you guys call in and ask questions, not only are you helping yourself, but you're helping thousands of listeners in the 757 area code fix their houses. And I'm talking from the roof to the crawl space and anything in between. I'm going to introduce our hosts tonight. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We have got, who do we have tonight? There's so many people here tonight. This is great. Yeah. So remember I joked to you when you forgot Justin from.
I forgot where I worked for the last 2 decades.
Censor it. Yeah. But yeah, this is Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services. We also have Tommy Hines, the perfect home remedy guy. He's our money guy of the show. Help you get money so that you can afford to make some repairs to your house. And then Cindy Rawl with Alpha Pest Solution and Jack Keller from Legacy Painting. And I'll go ahead and let you guys introduce who is here tonight.
Well, I'm Michael Davenport. I'm with CVP Windows and Doors. We are your window and door guy. We travel all over the place from North Carolina, Elizabeth City, Moyock, Outer Banks. We come up through Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Hampton, Newport News, Poquoson, Williamsburg, and I'm adding an 804.
All right, 804.
Richmond. We're moving into Richmond very soon, Lord. So call us from Richmond. We've been around 21 years, and we're not here to sell you windows. We're here to educate you on windows, and then you will want to buy them from us. Albin, take it away.
Hold on, you're going to spend 4 hours in my house to tell me how wonderful
Man, I wouldn't
that?
spend 4 hours in your house, man. I mean, if you were serving a good dinner, like a steak or something, I might hang out with you. But no, we're not that guy.
Yeah. I do have to ask you, though, on going to the 804 area code, I mean, with the way traffic is right now, you probably can get to Richmond in half the time you can to Virginia Beach.
Well, you know what? You can get to the east side of Richmond, Mechanicsville, cover pretty much a third of that population from our office in about an hour.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can spend an hour getting to the tunnel on our side.
Yeah. So Absolutely. I'm working down off of Mallory Street right now. We got a big job going on there. Every time I pull out of there heading west on 64, I'm passing about 6 miles of backed up traffic heading east towards Virginia Beach. It's just insane. So, but my name is Albin. I'm with Albinco. We specialize in home remodels. We'll help you with any type of home remodel you might be doing, maybe a bathroom, a kitchen, you need an addition, maybe you want a new house, but that's what we specialize in.
All right, just remind you to call 627-7979 while we're introducing ourselves. You guys call in with questions about your house.
Justin.
Go ahead, Justin.
Oh, it's me. Let's see if I can't mess this up again. I'm Justin Murphy with Pyramid Roofing and Gutters. Our area is actually, we go from basically Richmond to the Carolina line and out as far as, we're not going out to Emporia, but we'll take into Franklin. If you just want honest opinions and just transparency, please give us a call. With all that rain we've been having here lately, a lot of little things are becoming big things, and the sooner you catch it, the easier it is to be able to get it taken care of.
Yeah, a friend of mine told me the best thing about roofing was, or the worst thing about roofing is that only the lucky people see the leak.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I thought you were about
it could be leaking for like years and years.
Long time.
And so, if you haven't had it looked at or maintenance or it's free, and y'all do inspections and stuff on roofs.
No,
so, if you know you got some age on her,
let's get a look at it.
Don't be like my friend Tom, which I don't know if he's listening or not, in Hampton. He calls me up and says, "Hey man, my system's got a couple of years on it. I need you to come over and tune it up." And I'm brand new in business. I walk over there. Now, when I say this is a 30-year-old train unit,
oh yeah,
like it is not 4 seconds under 30 years old, right?
Yeah.
So the rust on this thing, like I said, if I unscrew that coil, like to look at the coil, to clean the coil, that cover is not going back on. Like I'm gonna have to come up with duct tape to put it back. I said, I'm not doing maintenance to this thing. You've lost your mind. Yeah. Like you'd be afraid to walk on that roof. Oh. No. So don't wait that long.
No, I
before
do see
you decide.
I see it a lot of times. Like I said, I mean, we can always, if we just give a once over on the roof, we can kind of, not nitpicking, but find some problematic areas that are going to act up on you. And a lot of those are just maintenance related. But especially with these storms we're having here lately, we are getting hammered by anything that comes out of the Northeast. So, we can take precautions, but the sooner you get the little things fixed, the sooner it's going to save you a ton of money in the long run.
Awesome. All right. So we want to remind you, call in 627. Y'all know the area code, right?
Well, I forgot who I work with.
7979. Call in. We've got some trivia questions, which are really cool questions. I've been finding some cool ones here lately. I'm a big trivia, like old. I don't know how to win those games in trivia, but I like older trivia stuff. I cannot win, but I do think stuff is interesting. So I'll look at one thing and it leads me to something else. Well, anyway, I saw something about George Washington, and it got me down. And there was a couple things listed about some cool stuff that he'd done. So I'll talk about that later in the show. But what years and how many years did Washington serve as president? And then who did he pass the presidency to?
Do you remember firsthand?
No.
Where are we going?
Hey, Mike.
Why Mike starts smiling?
I mean, Mike was there.
Were
you there?
We weren't really good friends.
No.
Because he had wooden teeth, and I didn't like that.
So, yeah. So, anyway, how many years and what years, and then who did he pass the presidency over to? I thought that was some cool trivia. And then here's one that what year did the Challenger explode? And I've got some details on what had happened on that thing, which was so stupid.
I can
Why
tell you
that
was either 86 or 87.
All right, don't tell
I
all
was
the 80s.
watching that from a
That
set
was
of
what Julie and I.
stairs.
This is what Julie and I were talking about, because that teacher was on there. All the educators brought in those TVs into
I wasn't
into our
watching
classroom.
TV. I was in Florida, so I was outside standing on a fire escape ladder,
You were there?
stairs. And I literally saw it explode in the air. We were trying to figure out what the heck just happened. Like we're just sitting there watching it.
No,
in the air.
they brought it into our high school. Julie, she graduated a year after I did. Stop. I didn't
thought
say I
you
was
were
passing.
I thought you were talking about Dodges here.
No, high school. No, Challenger.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny. No, it might have been before you were born.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, the Challenger that left NASA space in Cape Canaveral, Florida.
Yep. I was
that's crazy
actually
you were
in
there.
Merritt Island. I was in Merritt Island right at the school that I attended, and we were sitting out. All the kids are outside watching it go up.
That is insane. No, because I guess the educator, all the other school teachers thought it was cool, because it was a lot of publicity about the school teacher going up with them. Yep. And I think there was there 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, yes, 7 people were on it. So
You want to double check that?
no,
I was
he
waiting
was
for
there. He didn't see the bodies flying through the air, but it was bad. It was bad. So, but I do remember them pushing in a TV into my history class or whatever, and we all watched it. We all watched and of course, the TV went off really. The TV went off really quickly, because obviously none of the teachers were expecting that, but they were trying to. Hey, this is cool. This is impactful for our nation. And anyway, it was crazy. Yeah, that really blew my mind when that happened. But when I said I was watching on TV, Julie's like, yeah, they did the same thing for me. So here in Virginia. So
They're running a delay now.
what's that?
Good reason to run
yeah,
a delay,
there's a good. So I want to remind you again, 627-7979. Call in 7979. Call into the show. Why do we exist? We are a public service announcement for helping people fix their homes in the 757. In this area, we are here to educate homeowners on problems in their house, while one person calls in and answers or asks a question about their house from their gutter to their roof to their pest control to their crawl space. I got moisture issues. I got water around my house, which everybody does right now. Hopefully not in your house from all the rain we've had the last week. But this was just kind of a brainchild of mine of what could we do to kind of help people fix their houses. So when one person calls in, ask a question, we help that one person, which we've been doing it one-on-one, all of us, all four of us that are here tonight. We've been answering people's questions for, I mean, gosh, there's a lot of years behind this microphone. So I don't know if it's 100. We got Mike here, so he's 50 of it. But, you know, between the other three of us, we can probably add up to 50. But, you know, answering these questions one-on-one, hey, man, I got this problem with my house. You know, my heat pump's not doing this. My electrical's not doing it. Hey, why is it leaking on this side of the house, but the roofer says it's on, the leak is actually on the other side of the house. So, and we're answering all these questions, really helping people for years. I mean, I've been doing this a minute now.
I got one thing.
And it's cool because other people hear that, oh, you know what? I had that same daggone question.
Exactly.
So we're
right.
helping thousands of people by helping one person on the radio, which is why I came up with this idea of kind of putting together a team of guys that can answer any questions about a house. And gals and Cindy. That's right. Yep. That's right. She's Alpha Pest Solutions. So, yeah, if you want to go to break real quick. Hey, this is Chuck Worley with the 757 House Whisperers Show again. Want to remind you guys to call in 757-627-7979 to answer the question, what year did the Challenger explode in the NASA Space Shuttle Orbiter Challenger? What year and date was that explosion? And then what years did Washington serve as president? And how many years did he serve as president? And then who did he pass his presidency over to? Want to remind you, anybody that calls in for the trivia or ask a question about your house gets a free Starbucks gift card for just calling in. Remember, you could call or text at 955-9415. We call that the hotline. So you call in, ask questions there if you don't want to be on the radio, or just text us at 955-9415. Any questions or whatever that you might have about your house. So anyway, that is we are waiting on callers. So 627-7979. Albin, you had said something.
What I was going to say was, you know, we're with Debbie knocking on the door here. We got her coming this way. We're going to see some rain tomorrow. We're going to have some rain Friday. Michael, you were saying it's going to be quite a bit of rain. I know
especially
that,
on the south side.
And I've been hearing that we probably will get dumped on, but, you know, I don't know if there's going to be any lightning or thunder in this. But in these type situations, sometimes it might be beneficial as we talk about rain and water and stuff like that, and maybe suggest to some people if they got some issues at their house and they got some problems with water, maybe put on your duck shoes, go outside when it's raining and watch where water's going. It's a great opportunity if you obviously if you don't have electric storm, lightning or thunder, to go out there and try to investigate, find out what's going on with that water, making sure it's shedding away from your house well. And I mean, you get a lot of water coming on the ground like that, you can really see what's going on to see where some potential problems might be. Maybe water's getting underneath your foundation, or you can maybe look at your flower beds and see if it's trapping water, different things like that. I don't know if you guys
there might be some opportunities for putting in dry wells or sump pumps. We've got a couple customers with outdoor sump pumps that basically it's a grate in the ground is all you see. You don't see the pumps. And then we pump it to the back of your property or out to the street.
It's a great fix because, I mean, if you got a lot of sitting water, you don't want it sitting for multiple reasons. One is it's going to absorb into the ground. It's going to, grass can't grow there when it's sitting all the time. You're going to have your mosquitoes. You got all kinds of stuff. So you want to get that. You want to get that water away from your house. We actually had a job we were doing a encapsulation in, and the guy had. I mean, there was like 12 inches of water underneath his house. Like the guy had to bob up, like you're swimming and you got to bob up to breathe. Yeah. The guy was underneath, like hitting his head on the rafters. I'm like,
The water was that high. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 inches between the water and the bottom of the
You get your
subfloor.
wetsuit on to put on.
I mean, it was 12 degrees outside. It was actually over in Gloucester, Virginia, and the guy, there was so much water under the house, the guys could not even like work underneath the house, right? So we go over there and we got to literally just throw the sump pumps under the house, like not even installed. Like just put them under the house
just to
get it down low enough so that the guys could get in there to dig a hole to put the sump pump in. Like it was ridiculous amount of water.
What was causing the water to get in there?
Well, we found that out.
Okay.
So we go in. Actually, it was a friend of mine referred me over there. So we go over there and we're sumping this out. There's so much water under his house. This guy comes home and his front yard is full of water because like we didn't plan on like running like PVC out to the street. Like we weren't even there. We were just trying to get to where we could work. And it's 12 degrees. My guys are freezing. Every day we had a different guy out sick because it was so cold. And these guys are literally should have been in wetsuits, right? So anyway, the yard is just full of water. Like there's 6 inches of water in some of the places in this, and he's losing his mind about how there's so much water. I'm like, do you think that water just appeared? Like it's not raining. Like that water's from under your house. There's more danger, and he was losing his mind because his grass. And I'm like, no, like it's more serious under your house than it is in your front yard. Like we're trying to save your house. House is literally rotten out.
Wow.
For years, there was a tiled shower that was cracked. That literally water was pouring on.
Just going straight underneath there.
We're sumping it out. The next day, it's full again. We're like, where is this water coming from? Turned out,
I was wondering if it was
once we
filling
got
up
it
just as
down
fast as you
low
were
enough,
pumping it in.
we could see. So the guys, his wife got up late that day. Guys are underneath the house, and it's just dumping water under for years. Wow. So we go upstairs. We're banging on the door trying to get. So anyway, we get inside, and we're like, "Are you taking a shower? Like, what's happening?" Yeah, I just got out of the shower, and of course she was dressed or whatever. Like, so we finally got in there, and literally there is a crack on the floor.
Wow.
Like, and we're like, did you not see the crack in your tile? Like, oh yeah, that's been there for like 5 years. Like, okay, well that's why you had 13 inches of water underneath your house.
Wow.
I mean, that was just insane. But anyway,
Well, I was going to say, at least it smelled nice.
yeah.
The hot water, it smelled like bath bombs.
I mean, it was warm water, right? Yeah. So the guys were thankful for the lukewarm shower water.
Well, you know, it's that's a wake up call for all of us. You know, we can't let those little things go. We, you know, even the smallest of crack in the strangest of places could be where the problem is. So you start seeing settling in your house. You start seeing stuff, you know, cracks in your, maybe over your doorways or something like that. This is where, you know, everything's kind of comes to a head, and you really need to give it some attention. We got a caller?
Let's take Sue in Portsmouth. Hello, Sue.
Hey guys,
Hey,
how are you?
Hi.
we are well.
there.
Looks like you had a question about, do you hire contractors? Is that?
Yeah, you know, I just had a really bad experience with siding on my house a year or so ago, and it didn't end up well. So, and they were promoted on this station, and I follow this station, so I want to trust it, and I want to trust the people that have done things and, you know, advertise here. Also, I had, gosh, I can't remember the name of them, but I won't say.
Yeah.
Anyway, they came and did underneath my house. They did a full enclosure because I was having all this moisture, and my original hardwood floors were buckling in a season just like what we're having right now, all this humidity. And I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what's going on? And I realized that I had had a new air conditioning system put in, and I took it from the vents, the stuff underneath the house, to the attic of the house. And they put the system in the garage, took it out of a closet that was in the house. So So all that.
Well, Sue, I'm gonna have to put you on hold. We are gonna have to go to a quick break though, but we'll be right back with more 757 House Whisperer with the guys here taking calls and questions about your home right here on News Talk 790 WNIS.
Yeah, we'll call you right back.
Hold on, Sue. We'll get right to you and continue that call. And everybody else listening, 627-7979 to join the show or 757housewhisperer.com. Stay tuned.
Be right back.
This is 757 House Whisperer Show. We're going to jump back on with Sue. Hey, Sue, sorry we had to cut you off there. We had a hard break at 6:30. I wanted to finish your question so we can maybe get to an answer for you.
Okay. I kind of forgot where I was at. I think I was under the house.
You were under the house,
Yeah,
yes.
That's
I
where
was
we were.
under the house. And I had a company come out and put in a dehumidifier because the floors were buckling.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where you
My
were.
hardwood, my original, and this house was probably built in 56. It's just a little ranch house. And so they were buckling, and I couldn't figure what's going on. And it was because I had moved the heating and air conditioning ductwork to the ceiling, to the attic part of the house. So there wasn't air, I guess, escaping from that ductwork underneath the house that was keeping it dry enough.
Well, if that ductwork was leaking like crazy, that might have been the case. Moving the we have people do that. Do that all the time. Move it out of the crawl space because the crawl space is funky. It's humid. You got hot, humid air next to a 50-degree duct. It's just going to sweat and condensation and mold and mildew and just the death of a house is moisture. So I'm always recommending people to move it up into the attic, especially if you're having issues. Plus, I'm a chubby guy, so trying to get under a crawl space with ductwork in the way, it's me or them, me or ductwork. So I am okay with moving it, but that is not why you had issues with the floor. The reason you had issues with the floor is because the moisture levels get above a certain percentage in wood. The wood is supposed to be around 10%, I believe, 10 to 12% wood moisture percentage, and we have moisture readers and stuff like that can help figure out what it is. But once it starts getting in the 20s and the 30s and the 50% humidity, I've been in rainforests in the 757. Like I go underneath the house and I'm like, I'm expecting lions, tigers, and bears. Like it's a rainforest under there. So the moisture is just because we live in an area called tide water, so water is everywhere. So moisture underneath the house starts attacking the wood and saturating the wood. That is what's going to cause buckling. I've seen brand new floors. In fact, I told this story a couple weeks ago about a Navy captain that had moved into this area and he moved in and spent $30,000 on flooring. Like he ripped it out. As soon as he got in, he ripped it out. And within weeks of him doing that, it looked like a roller coaster. Like you couldn't ride a skateboard on this brand new, like, what do you call that? Pinch and groove. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? The floor.
Parquet floor.
Like parquet floor. Like it's, like just goes together like what is it, 1 inches or 2 inch, like 2 inches wide, and you just kind of fold one right into the other. What's that word called?
Laminate?
Tucking? No, it's not laminate. It's
and groove.
tongue and groove. Yeah, so it was like tongue and groove. Sorry,
So
man.
what does it look like? Does it look like a basketball court?
Yeah, it looks like a basketball court. That's it.
Having fun,
Thank you for helping me. The guy that's not a contractor, Damon, for not for helping us. So tongue and groove. So it looks like a basketball court, right? So and you could not ride a skateboard on this floor. Like after 2 weeks, there was like whoop whoop whoop, like you would have died, right? So So anyway, we go under there. There's water underneath the house, moisture, so we encapsulate the crawl space. But it takes weeks for us to get the moisture out of that wood because that just doesn't happen. A lot of times it takes 30, what'd you say, your house was 50 years old? It took 50 years to get that much moisture into your flooring that it started doing that. So it's going to take more than a week for us to get the moisture pulled out of it.
You can't get it too dry.
You can get it too dry. Yeah, you can.
Separate.
So
you know,
typically
on
it's
that-
moisture in the wood is causing floors to buckle.
She did mention she had somebody, I don't know if she said a partial encapsulation or not, but the question I would have is maybe, you know, Chuck, you would maybe recommend that she actually has you come out and look at that.
Yeah, we
and
can definitely do.
see whether or not you need more encapsulation. And if you've got a DHU in there and it's only partial encapsulation, I'm sure it's running all the time.
Has it ever been serviced?
Yeah. So a lot of times we pull permits on our encapsulation. So unless you had a city official, a city inspector come out and inspect it, that is not a properly done by the state of Virginia encapsulation. So when you go to sell the house, could cause some issues. So it is very important to pull permits on encapsulations. A lot of guys go in there, they slap a DHU, slap vents over the gosh, my words tonight. Yeah, foundation vents. Slipping today. So foundation vents, you just slap black covers over them and put a DHU under there. That is not a proper encapsulation in the state of Virginia. I argue with people all the time, sometimes pest control companies, sometimes I argue with them all the time. I just stopped arguing and I said, okay, call the city of Chesapeake, call the city of Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, and let's see who's right, you or me. I'm going to win because I'm the guy pulling permits, right? There is a proper way to do an encapsulation according to the state of Virginia. Don't take my opinion. Take the opinion of the city that you live in, because really these inspectors are czars in their own world. So it doesn't matter what you think, I think, another contractor thinks, whatever that inspector thinks, that's the way it goes in that city.
Interpretation of
That's the law. Yeah, it's their interpretation of the city code. So it's real important to do a proper encapsulation because, like the guys were just talking about, the DHU's never going to shut off, right? So, all right. So let's move on. I did have a question text in about how does rain affect the humidity in crawl spaces. Somebody texted me yesterday. How does the rain affect the humidity in crawl spaces? Well, it doesn't help it.
Yeah, I mean, if you got 100% humidity outside the crawl space, and you got your vents open and stuff like that, it's definitely going to impact it.
Well, one of the things about humidity in crawl spaces is a lot of times contractors do not hold the elevation of the house high enough to get the inside crawl space elevation at or above the outside elevation. They don't plan on you putting a flower bed in, you're putting mulch in, all that retains moisture and things in there. You should have 6 inches of fall. Oh, yeah. You should have 6 inches of fall in the first 10 feet around your house to make sure water doesn't puddle around the house. Yeah. That is a bit. What do you think about that, Albin?
Yeah, no, that's right. You know, if you can get the water to move, you got rain outside. So we're talking about how does it impact the crawl space? Get the water away and get it away fast. Not like super fast, but 6 inches over 10 feet is going to move it away from the house. Get your gutters tied into some type of drainage system to move that away from the house. Chuck's mentioned the dry wells or even sump pumps. Get the water away from your house is the best thing that's going to keep that moisture levels down around your
Mike,
the crawl spaces.
Mike had talked. Sorry to cut you off there. Mike had talked about the level of the crawl space. I really, as a joke, that I'm a big guy. A lot of people will just throw sand in it to kind of even it with outside. I don't like to do that because, like I said, I'm a big guy, so getting on the crawl spaces is already difficult enough. So by me adding sand, that gives me less room to get under the duct and around PVC piping. And the more crawl space room, the happier Chuck is. Now, I do have skinny guys like Albin that can get under there, but I don't recommend or tell people, no, you got to fill it up. I had one customer that had water in her crawl space, and she goes, well, I'm just, 3 guys came out here and they told me they can just throw sand in the crawl. I said, well, there's water in your crawl space. She goes, yeah, that's why we're putting sand in. I said, so is sand a definition for sump pump? And she goes, no, just put sand in there. I said, well, sand doesn't get rid of water. It absorbs water.
Yeah.
And holds water.
And hides it.
Now it doesn't hide it, it holds it.
Well,
So
yeah,
then the
but it's hiding
moisture
it. You don't
is
know
still
it's there.
getting into your wood.
Yeah.
Like, it's not,
Yeah, so
you're not
you
like
got-
solving anything.
If
You're
you
just
got 2
covering
inches
it
of
up.
water in your crawl space and you add 3 inches of sand in there, you're still going to have 2 inches of water hidden into 3
I call
inches
that
of
quicksand.
sand.
Like, because when you go through
So-
there, you're going to be sinking your whole
Yeah,
to
yeah.
your elbow when you're crawling in.
So-
That is not the answer.
It's
Sand
kind of
is
like
not the answer.
a Band-Aid over. You're trying to cover up the problem. Get the problem away. So get rid of the water.
I gotta ask, how many times have you guys come up to a house and seen that? Oh, look, the downspouts are looking like they're good. The water should be good. The grade from the house is good, and then you go into the crawl space and find out that the crawl space is 6 inches lower than the outside ground, and it's full of water. And nobody knew this $1 million house or whatnot has it's graded from the outside, but underneath it's dug under deep because the topsoil's gone. How often
it
is that?
can look wonderful on the outside and still have problems in the crawl space. So even if and that's a good point, because even those who are listening that say I've got all this bases covered, if you haven't been in your crawl space, you may not have all the bases covered. So you may want to get Cindy with Alpha Pest out there to do an inspection on the crawl space, and that's a reminder for us, Chuck. We should probably go through and introduce ourselves one
All
more
right, let's
time.
go ahead and do it.
So
You
yeah,
start
my
with
name's
you.
Albin with Albinco. So we do home remodeling. We will help you with any type of bathroom, kitchen remodel, if you want an addition or anything like that. And then, of course, I just mentioned Cindy with Alpha Pest. She'll help you with any of your insect. She says if it crawls or moves, what does she say? If it crawls or moves, we'll kill it, something like that.
Yeah.
So
she's a licensed killer.
yeah,
Okay,
she's she's the only woman in
Virginia that's licensed to kill.
That part, yeah. So I don't know if we got that right, Cindy, but so hopefully we got that plug right. But then we also have Tommy Hines with Perfect Home Remedies. He's our money guy. So Justin?
Yeah, I'm Justin with let's get this right again. It's Pyramid Roofing and Gutters. That's going to be a joke it's going to go on forever.
It will.
I also do want to throw that out there that, we do complete re-roofs, but we are one of the only companies around here that will actually specialize in repairs as well. There's a few of them, but, I just want to throw that out as an option as well.
I'm Michael Davenport, CVP Windows and Doors. We do your windows that are custom made to fit. We don't try to do something that is not going to be complete and professionally done totally. We are very affordable. We have financing. And we work from all of your close North Carolina cities, Elizabeth City, Moyock, Outer Banks, all of your South Side cities, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Portsmouth. We go into the peninsula, covering everything there. We're now moving into Richmond.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So,
cool.
I mean, we're moving on. And I'd like to mention Jack Keller.
Good.
He's our legacy painting guy. I recommended him just this week to a friend of mine in Williamsburg, and he is starting his house next week. He's a young guy.
Awesome.
Really cool.
About 4 or 5 guys on his team, all extremely professional, and he's all about getting the right job done.
That's great. Yeah, we do kind of joke around with the first week he came on as one of the guys. He's definitely the young buck of the group, and we won't tell you who the long tooth is, but or the longest tooth. But Mike is here. But yeah, I don't know what y'all were doing at 23, 24 years old, but it sure as heck wasn't running a nice size company.
professional.
Not being. Justin, you barely do that now, right?
Well, we're getting it together. The longer we go, it's getting better. Don't worry.
Yeah, we pray for your wife, so, as most people pray for Julie. So, but yeah, I want to remind you guys of the Challenger. What in NASA Space Shuttle Orbiter Challenger? What day was that? Did that explode in Cape Canaveral, Florida?
Day
And
or
then,
year? Did you want the actual day or the year?
I think either one. but the day and year.
It was
yeah,
very
the day
cold
and year.
that day.
I'm going to go
It was.
with daytime.
Here's a trivia.
Was it at night?
It was
No, it was
daytime.
daytime.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I
daytime.
was in the daytime
And
because I can remember.
the fact that you said it's cold is the whole reason that it
It
exploded.
did.
That's
Yeah,
an
the O-ring
interesting
and the booster rocket.
because it was too cold and didn't get hot enough and expand fast enough. So the jet fuel leaked
Well,
out onto the.
The O-ring in the booster rockets was shrunk down, and it started
Because it was
going
cold.
against the big container that carried
that
most
sounds
of the
like
fuel.
insider information there. You
Well, I mean,
used to
it's
get
I
an
read
engineer
it.
or something?
No,
The
I read
bad
it.
part was
I read it.
an engineer warned against that. Nobody would listen to
That
it.
You wouldn't
morning.
believe how
That
much
morning.
that was on the radio, on TV for months, and it was all the conversation about what you just went through.
Yeah.
It's just stuff going through my
Sad.
head that is just over and over going through your head. You're trying to figure out what you just saw as you watched the shuttle go up,
And that was crazy.
and we
That's-
just couldn't make sense of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what just happened in front of my eyes.
Well, and I hate to go to the Segway take home, but fuel leaks are a serious thing, and upcoming winter means you need to get your system checked out if it's a gas system by Worley's, and make sure you don't have your own,
Yeah, carbon
challenge.
monoxide. I'm actually in a couple months from now, when it starts to get cold and we start to tune up these furnaces, I actually have a customer coming in to tell his story about how he almost died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah, it was
he's
scary.
okay.
Retired chief in the Navy, but Tony Denza. But anyway,
Tony
that is
Danza.
I was just about to say, hold on now.
Denzel. Anyway, I can't even
Tony
spell
somebody.
it. Yeah, it's some of these people listening will recognize him because he's not quite as long in the tooth as you, Mike, but he has been around a little while. So, but anyway, I do want to thank you guys for coming in tonight. So we've got a couple minutes left. So I'm going to no one's called in for this trivia, so I'm going to go ahead and give the answer for that is January 28th, 1986. NASA shuttle Challenger lifted off at Cape Canaveral, Florida at 11:38, 73 seconds into the flight, exploded 9 miles. So he went 9 miles in 73 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it landed 2.5 minutes later in the Atlantic Ocean. All 7 crew members, it was the Challenger was Dick Scobie, or commander, excuse me. Mission specialist was Judith Resnick. Mission specialist was Ellison Kuka, Onauka. And then pilot was Mike Smith. That was a lot easier name. Payload specialist was Gregory Jarvis. Mission specialist Ron McNair. And then the teacher I was talking about earlier was Krista what do you say that is? McAuliffe? McAuliffe. So she was described as a bubbly 37-year-old bubbly school teacher. She was I thought this was interesting. She was selected from 11,000 applications to be the first teacher in space. Yeah. And she won. So largely because of her presence, some 17% of Americans watched the live coverage and the, of course, horrifying disappearance into a plume of smoke. But that's why I was talking about how impactful it was for kids. I mean, I'm 55, so every high school kid saw that happen.
Yep.
So, and that's why I think there was such a large percentage of people that actually saw it.
The one
'cause
thing I think
it was in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
so.
well, it was. I remember I was going into Tallheimer's to eat lunch, working in Hampton, and all of a sudden, there we were walking by the TVs they were selling, and there it was. And Sonny Pless said, "Do you guess anybody lived?" And I looked at that explosion. I said, "Not a chance."
No.
But the thing we got to think about is in life, and we cover a lot of things here. We have a great time. But there are things in your home that can kill you. Chuck just mentioned gas leaks, the CO2. You've got just simple things like a loose step, you can fall. A loose handrail going out on brick steps, you can fall. My niece and her daughter were hit by a concrete truck just this past weekend. Yeah. She just came out of the hospital today. Many injuries, a couple of broken ribs, punctured lung. I mean, we've got to be careful, especially when you're out on the road. The people around here drive like they shouldn't drive. They shouldn't have a driver's license. We all see those people every day. But you got to be watching out for each other. And we always need to be doing that every day.
All right, and I will go over the last trivia. Maybe these trivia questions are too hard. So, 8 years, 2 terms was Washington's thing. His first term was 1789 to 1792, and then 1793 to 1797. There was a really interesting article about him going back to Mount Vernon. Is it Mount Vernon? Yeah. So that he had wrote a letter back to, I think the guy was the United States Secretary of War. I can't remember his name, but he was really good personal friends, and they wrote letters back and forth. He goes,
Mike, you know his name?
"We haven't." Oh,
I got to throw one in at the last second. Come on.
So anyway, you don't remember? I mean, y'all were all in school together, you know. So, but you know, it was pretty cool that he's like, yeah, nothing's been done for the last 8 years. And it was really cool that he spent so much time, you know, basically ignoring his personal house
Right.
to make sure that this country was getting kicked off right. I wish the politicians nowadays did that, not as self-serving as some of them are. So most of them are, right? So, but yeah, so let's pray we get some good servants in our politicians in November to improve this country.
Chuck, that's a good point.
Well,
It is
by the
servants.
way, I will
They
mention
work for us.
Henry Knox was the Secretary of War. I didn't want to mention that.
All right, because you remember?
Yeah,
Well, thank you all. I appreciate you joining the show tonight.
Hey, we'll see you next week.
Have a good evening.